Welcome to What's Up Wichita. We're here with host Mayor Brandon Whipple. Today, we're talking about how businesses have adapted during the 2020 pandemic. If you have a question for the mayor, email them to social@wichita.gov, and he will answer them on next month's show.
Hi, I'm Mayor Brandon Whipple, and I'm here with our friend Andrew Nave from the Wichita Partnership. Andrew, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Mayor.
Well, 2020 has thrown us a real curveball as far as economic development, and I just wanted to start off and ask about what Wichita is doing to be competitive even during these downtimes.
Absolutely, Mayor. No, thank you for having us. And these are unprecedented times for sure, but we've actually seen at the Greater Wichita Partnership, we've actually seen an increase in activity and an increase in interest in Wichita, which really flies in the face of what we would have expected or what we think of. But there's been a lot of interest in our region, in the air capital of the world, especially when it comes to our workforce. So the number one selling proposition that we talk about is our competitive workforce. Our skilled and highly trained, hardworking folks that make up our labor force are our number one asset. They always have been, but especially right now through these kind of turbulent times when we have seen a number of layoffs, we have seen some furloughs of workers. That presents an opportunity for companies that are growing and expanding. So we've actually seen an increase, a dramatic increase in the number of companies that are looking at Wichita and looking across the country, across the globe for a new facility. So how we start off with that strategy, how we really go after that. First of all, the number one thing in economic development that we consistently try to adhere to is we take care of our own. We really want to take care of those existing companies, those existing workers in our community. So back in the spring, when I know your office and all of city government was really marshaling to respond to the crisis, to the COVID crisis all across the community, public health and the like, our office and our team was responding to companies. And so we were reaching out. We had over 150 virtual calls with companies about what do they need to stay open? What do they need from personal protective equipment, from masks? Are they familiar with the PPP program? Are they familiar with some of the tools and the funding and financing programs that are available to them? So we really cast the net far and wide, as did folks all across our region and business groups across the region, to make sure that our businesses understood, hey, there are resources for you, there are tools, it's going to be tough, but we can get through this together. And so that's what we have done and what we continue to do.
So COVID-19 is not going away, and I think that some folks thought we needed a short-term strategy with this, and now we're seeing we need somewhat of a longer-term strategy. How has, I guess, your job as someone who works in economic development, how has that changed with the ongoing pandemic?
Sure, no, great question. Yeah, I would say that the delivery system has changed a little bit, but the underlying fundamentals, I don't, at least yet, I mean, we're just a few months into this, I haven't seen the underlying fundamentals change dramatically yet. And I'll give you an example. One of the things that we lean on heavily is kind of our playbook, if you will. Just like any team, you have a playbook and a plan. We have a playbook for our economy and kind of growing our economy, and it's called the Regional Growth Plan. It's a very aggressive, comprehensive plan that looks at all of our industry strengths. So an economy is built on industries. We have many great companies and private sector organizations in this region that drive those economies and those industries. And so we're leaning on them. And so the Regional Growth Plan that was finished in 2018, we've taken a step back and looked at it and said, where does this need to be tweaked? Where does this need to be enhanced? Given the new COVID environment and remote conversations and remote learning and distancing, but the underlying fundamentals of it are still solid. And quickly, the Regional Growth Plan, I won't go into all the details, but the Regional Growth Plan is made up of 7 industry segments. Aerospace is the largest cluster, the one strength that we know there, of course. But within each of those segments, like aerospace, there's some niche segments that we think Wichita, because of our assets, because of our workforce, we have a competitive advantage. So case in point, one of the niche segments of aerospace would be maintenance, repair, and overhaul. That's the service side, the service sector of aerospace. So we build the planes, whether it's at Beach or at Cessna, we build the plane, or in Spirit is building the fuselage, we build it the first time. But what about maintaining it? What about maintaining that aircraft over its lifespan? Some of these aircraft can last 40, 50, 60 years. So how do we get on that side? We actually have quite a bit of that in the community, but we as a community, we as business leaders maybe don't talk about it as much. Most of Bombardier Learjet's presence in our community would be categorized as maintenance, repair, and overhaul. So we have a number of businesses that are doing that. How do we expand that? How do we get more of that? So that's just one example of an industry segment that we're really trying to highlight because of the regional growth plan.
That's an interesting pivot because if there's less people spending money on new airplanes, Wichita can still make up that revenue by repairing airplanes because older airplanes will fly longer. So
Absolutely. We're seeing that, and all of the national projections are showing that they're going to be maintaining the aircraft longer. But it's not just MRO. So another example would be there's many segments, and each one of these 7 sectors, agriculture, IT, healthcare, they're all as diverse as aerospace. But aerospace is a great one to give an example of, that maintenance, repair, and overhaul is the fastest growing segment, but rotorcraft, helicopters, is another segment that we have a stronger presence here in Wichita than many people realize. Case in point, Bell Helicopter just decided to open up an office. I know you were a part of that and aware of that. So that's an exciting step further into that segment of aerospace. Another one would be defense. We are not maybe seen and thought of nationally as a defense community. We have quite a bit of defense. A number of our aerospace supply chain companies are working on defense programs and projects, maybe not separate from Spirit, the work that Spirit does. They're on a defense program all by themselves. So that's a segment that we need to advance. We need to accelerate. Space would be another good example. The U.S. Space Command headquarters search that I know you're familiar with and are supportive of, that's another segment. Space, so there's all these avenues, all these verticals within aerospace that we're going after.
yeah, I joked when we talked about Space Force, where, well, as mayor, do I get a command or a spacesuit? I think Megan's still working on that, but yeah, it's interesting when you kind of put all the pieces on the board of what Wichita's really good at and how we could be really good at building airplanes, but you're right, building helicopters is right up there with the stuff that we're capable of doing. Can you talk a little bit about how the Greater Wichita Partnership works with the city?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have obviously a very close relationship with the city, both at kind of the tactical level, I would say, and then at the strategic level. At the tactical level, I feel bad. We feel like we kind of burn up City Hall's phones sometimes. So we're almost daily calls with your economic development staff, with your planning department. We're actively engaged with your teams. At a strategic level, I think we work very well with your leadership and certainly at the city council level and the manager's office. We're giving feedback on whether it's economic incentive policy guidelines like that is being discussed here soon, strategic direction in terms of some of the programs that you guys are seeking and going after. Giving feedback for infrastructure. I mean, the investments that you all make in terms of capital investments in public infrastructure is hugely important to economic development. We would not see some of the inroads that we have made as a region over the last few years in the transportation and logistics sectors of our economy. Think some of the big new warehouses that have been popping up along 135. We would not have that were it not for the cities and the counties and the state's investment in public infrastructure. So at that strategic level, we're working in lockstep with you all and your leadership. And then at the tactical level, we're making calls. We actually split up a list of businesses across the community that your staff, the economic development staff, will call on. And then there's other companies that we'll call on just to kind of divide and conquer, make sure that we're getting the word out there that we're all here to help.
Right, cover all of our bases.
Absolutely.
So my final question for you, when COVID is behind us and when we are really rebuilding our economy, but also hitting the gas on the stuff that we have been working on, what do you think would be different? Do you think coming in, if it's next year or the next few months, and we're done with COVID, do you think that the economy or will be different than it is today?
I think a good element of this crisis that we found ourselves in is it's opened a lot of people's eyes to places in the country that they may not have considered before. Because historically, a lot of our marketing, a lot of our activity has been that face-to-face, person-to-person sales. And a lot of times we do that at like a trade show, for example. We'll fly to an industry trade show or go to the Farnborough Paris Air Shows. I mean, we go to these shows to promote Wichita, to promote the air capital.
Neg is just Zoom to them, right?
Yeah, and this year we had to Zoom to them. There was no trade shows to go to. And so that really opened up a lot. And quite frankly, we saw a lot more interest than we expected. We expected it to be smaller, and it was a lot larger. In fact, Mayor, in terms of our projects, what we count as a project, a company considering Wichita, we're up 20% year over year compared to last year.
Oh, wow.
And I would have never expected that. I would have expected in this crisis that we hunker down and companies decide, I'm not going to meet or discuss or go and evaluate that potential site for a new plant or a new office or a new headquarters location. I'm going to put that off for a year or two. we found just the opposite, that companies are actually leaning into those conversations now more than ever, or the conversations that they're having are more serious, that they know they really have to make this decision, given their business model, their business cycle, they have to do it now. So I would say that things will change. Certainly we're all used to Zoom and the kind of the virtual environment now. We've done a number of virtual site visits where we've pulled up aerial photos of the piece of property, the industrial park. We'd never really done that much before. So now we're using technology in a new way. But I would hope that kind of the backside into whether it's a few months or hopefully into next year, that our aggressive posture, of getting Wichita's name out there, I hope that continues for sure.
Excellent. Well, Andrew, I want to thank you for being on today. Very important information, and we love the work that the Wichita Partnership is doing in growing jobs and trying to make sure that Wichita is ready for that next economy. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
The City of Wichita recently started a new program to support local business owners during this pandemic. It's called Open Air ICT. The program allows restaurants, bars, and retail owners to use the on-site parking and sidewalks that are next to their business, also the streets, for free. The idea is to make it easier for the customers to practice social distancing while dining, drinking, and shopping. 11 businesses across the city have received open air ICT permits since the program began in August. You can learn more and apply at wichita.gov/open air ICT. Now let's hear about what's up in Wichita and a few ways families can access resources, activities, and services here in Wichita.
Halloween is right around the corner, and Wichita Park and Rec is helping your family celebrate safely. Make plans to attend Drive Boo Trick or Treat on October 24th. The fun will take place from 4 to 7 p.m. at O.J. Watson Park. Your kids and grandkids will enjoy trick-or-treating from the safety of your vehicle. More than 30 vendors will be handing out candy and prizes. Kids are encouraged to dress up, and you can even decorate your car too. The cost is $5 per vehicle, and don't forget to bring trick-or-treat bags.
Anchor Lacey Enderall here with tonight's top story. McDonald Golf Course has made some changes to the course to improve conditions and make the round more enjoyable for golfers. Staff has been using Jack the Goose Dog since December 10th, 2019 to help thin the goose population and reduce the number of nests on site. But by allowing Jack to do his job, there has been an elimination of goose species on the greens and other high-trafficked areas. Sod was laid in the fairways to eliminate bare spots. Sodding and sprigging will be an ongoing process to the course. The third fairway was moved further to the east to prevent golfers from teeing off, hitting into the driving range, and to make the hole more playable. Some tee boxes were enlarged. This was to help spread out the wear and tear on the turf. New ladies' tees were added on holes 3, 5, 14, 15, and 16. These additions shorten the holes to make the par 4s more playable and enjoyable for the golfers. Collar or fringe areas were enlarged on 15 of the holes to increase playability around the greens. Blue tees were added to holes 2, 9, 10, and 18 to enhance the challenge for skilled golfers. This anchor encourages all you golfers to head out to McDonald Golf Course to see for yourself the great shape the course is in. Now let's cut to Jack the Goose Dog out in the field at McDonald Golf Course for the latest updates.
I'm Councilmember Brandon Johnson, representing District 1 on the Wichita City Council, and welcome to Atwater Neighborhood Resource Center. This is a center that has Wichita's only full-size boxing ring here, where you can come take classes for $35 for a 5-week course in boxing. We also have a full workout facility, as well as all the services that our other community resource centers have. Fax, copy, notary, even free taxes that have income requirements. So we'd love to have you here at Atwater Neighborhood Resource Center. Again, it's in the middle of the community, and it's open between 8 a.m. and noon and 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. 12 to 1 is the lunch break.
Want to know when a street sweeper will be in your neighborhood? Wichita Public Works and Utilities provides a map that will give you that information. Visit wichita.gov/PWU and then scroll down and click on Street Sweeper Map. You can see where street sweepers are currently at and where they have been in the last 15 to 60 minutes or even the last 24 hours. You can zoom into the part of town that you want more information and see when the next estimated date that area will be swept. Please be advised the dates of next sweeping apply only to residential streets and are highly subject to change due to weather and numerous other factors beyond the city's control. They represent staff's best estimate given progress as of today. Please check back often. Projected dates become more accurate as the dates draw near.
With the MyStop mobile app, you can see the real-time location of all Wichita Transit fixed route buses and queue line and track the bus you need to catch. To get started, select the route you wish to view. You will see the entire route, the current locations of the buses traveling that route, and every stop along the way. This icon is the bus that is currently traveling the selected route. Its location is updated in real time so you can watch it travel along the route. Tap on the icon to see the bus number, if the bus is on time or late, whether the bus is traveling inbound towards the transit center or outbound away from the transit center, and the stop the bus most recently passed. The gray dots are bus stops. Zoom in to see which side of the street the stop is on. Tap on a spot to see the stop number, which routes use that stop, and what time each bus will arrive next. You can also get walking directions to the stop nearest you. To view important notices about route adjustments and detours, tap on the red View Service Alerts button at the top of the screen. You can also use all of these features from your laptop or desktop computer by visiting wichitatransit.org and clicking on the real-time bus locator on the home page.
Thank you for those updates. As a reminder, you can always find ways the city is working to support our families during this pandemic online at wichita.gov. Now, let's take some questions that have been sent to me this past week through the city's social media page.
Mayor, we've received a variety of questions from the public, so I'm just going to give you just a couple. The first one is, how are our Kansas COVID numbers? Have they changed since the mask mandate was put into effect?
So, really good question. COVID numbers statewide are actually not very good. I believe most of the state in the heavily populated areas are still in the red zone. Here in Wichita, though, our numbers are actually trending the right direction. For the first time since, I think, June, we're under 6%. This weekend, we actually touched to like 4.9%. And that percentage is the percentage of everyone who's been tested who actually tested positive out of everyone who's been tested for a 14-day rolling average. So headed in the right direction. Masks are the only really variable that has caused our numbers to go down. And it's really, when the mask ordinance went into place and when the numbers were climbing like the doctors told us they would if we didn't do anything, when masks were supposed to start taking effect, because as we know, COVID takes a while when you change behavior, it takes a while to show up in the numbers. You just see that line just start heading down since masks were in place. So yeah, I think smart people will tell you that masks are the reason why our numbers are going down. And if we want to get kids back in classrooms, get our economy going again, we're going to probably have masks here for the foreseeable future.
Well, masks and testing numbers aren't the only way that our community has seen change. It's also impacted our economy, and the city is actively pursuing new opportunities with employers. Could you speak to some of the opportunities we're currently looking at?
Yeah, so one of the things we want to do is not think of this time as like time on the sidelines, right? Where I think a lot of folks believe if you're furloughed or if you're a business owner and your business isn't open right now, that they kind of left out in the cold, right, until this is over. What we want to do is encourage people to use this time with purpose, particularly our small businesses. One of the things we learned during this crisis that if, let's say, a company that normally makes airplane parts can't make those parts during this time, we need to ask them what they can do. Like, what other stuff could they actually be producing? Here in Wichita, great stories about how Spirit went from building airplanes to building ventilators. And they didn't just switch to building ventilators during this time. They took the industry standard of 25 units a week and our people here in Wichita turn out to 500 ventilators a day. So our goal right now at the city level is to talk with business owners and to figure out, are there things we can be doing to help you pivot, to figure out how can we not only get through this time, but come out of the other end stronger, and also talk about our programs we have for individuals who might be laid off right now. We have a lot of resources, programs that can send people back to school. There are jobs out there right now. Workforce Alliance is a really good resource to figure out different jobs that are available at the moment. It's pretty much utilizing this time the best way we can moving forward.
Perfect. I think a lot of cities are looking at ways that they can adapt to a virtual workforce. What are some of the advantages that Wichita has to attract those people that are looking at the changing ways in which we do business? Yeah,
so getting out of this, once, whether it's next year or the end of this year, when COVID is no longer a pressing threat, I doubt the economy is going to go right back to the way it was. We have all learned that you can get a lot accomplished working from home, from Zoom. I mean, we might have a Zoom economy. That creates a lot of opportunities for Wichitans because here in Wichita, we have a high level of folks who have diverse training. We're home to world-class universities, and we have a great work culture here. People actually want to do the best and put their all into their job. And if some of those jobs are located out of state, but now we have somewhat of a, like I said, Zoom economy where you can live in Wichita and work for, let's say, a Goldman Sachs, let's say a company in California. That presents incredible opportunity for Wichitans here. Wichita, we're set up pretty well for that. We do have, we have high-speed internet. There's more we can be doing, obviously, to expand opportunities for high-speed internet in other areas of our city, which is something we're working on. But when it comes to the opportunities economically, because more people will likely be working from home, you get more bang for your buck hiring a Wichitan if you're on the coast than you do, let's say, setting up a shop there, paying rent, paying for, I guess, the traditional way that we all visualize an office to be.
Yeah, that's awesome. With schools widely virtual this year, what are some of the programs the city has to fill in the gaps to help students learn and stay engaged at home? Yeah, so I'm a dad, and my first grader is doing first grade remote right now. And we're a few weeks into it, and he's doing really good, considering, right? I mean, he's a first grader doing Zoom classes all day. And my other two younger ones, they don't have online school, but they want to be like their big brother, and they want to also have school. So one of the things my wife looked into is the offerings over at Exploration Place. Exploration Place for my 5-year-old actually has an online science class where my 5-year-old can supplement his curriculum with a class. I think it's 1 day a week. It's not a heavy workload, of course. You can supplement that with offerings over at Exploration Place. If you're a parent and you are looking to supplement the remote learning or the online learning with other, other resources, our public library is perfectly set up for this. We have a drive-through where you can actually go online and, pretty much fill up a shopping cart, right, where stuff that you're gonna want to use for your child, and then drive through or have curbside service where you can actually pick up these items without having to break social distancing. Also, there's a ton of stuff that could be downloaded at their website. Another thing I want to talk about when it comes to the city partnering with families to get the most out of this time is our Park and Rec department. We have just a huge listing of activities that can be done while being safe from COVID. Our people over at the Park and Rec department do a great job. They thought about ways to keep people safe while still being active. So this is a great opportunity for some people, not just students, but also parents. If you want to supplement what you normally do, you not show up to, football games or whatnot. We're not doing these type of big social events we normally do in the fall. We have paddle boats over on the river, for instance, or kayaks, or yoga in the park. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on at the city level that this is a perfect time to take advantage of and make sure we're getting the most out of an otherwise bad situation. Outside of virtual learning and school activities, what are some things that families can do together to get out of the house yet maintain safe social distancing?
So Wichita's home to a ton of parks. We have a lot of parks. We have a lot of trails. We have a great nature center where it's an opportunity to get out there with the kids, or just yourself and maybe your partner, going for walks, getting out and just seeing some parts of Wichita that maybe some of us haven't been to in a while. It's also an opportunity to kind of unplug a little bit, right? Like, so with my 5-year-old and my 7-year-old, I talk about you have to get off the Kindles or get out of the screen time and go do, I call it charging our brain, right? Because you have to charge the Kindle if you use it too much. We got to charge our brain. We got to get out and actually walk around and go do some exploring. And all those are open right now. And one of the things that we want to promote here in Wichita is not just the opportunities to get out there and to take advantage of what our city has to offer, but also the fact that it's safer to do so, that you are less likely to catch, for what we know about the novel coronavirus, is you are less likely to catch this outside. It's spread by droplets. Droplets evaporate quick outside. So being outside is safer. And luckily we live in a place like Wichita that has a lot of opportunity for us to get out there, have fun while being safe, with a family focus.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all the questions we have today.
Thanks for watching this episode of What's Up Wichita. If you have a question, you can always reach out to me on social media or email me at bwhipple@wichita.gov. Also, if you got a question for our next show, make sure you email social@wichita.gov, and I'll make sure to answer that question next month. Thanks for joining.